Most Christians believe the Bible teaches that other gods don't exist, but that's not actually what the text says. And once you see what it does say, worship, idolatry, and spiritual power start to make a lot more sense. One of the most common accusations against Christianity is that it simply copied pagan religions. Skeptics argue that the God of the Bible is just another ancient deity who demanded worship, controlled people through fear, and replaced older gods by force. Christians usually respond by saying those other gods were never real, just statues, myths, or human imagination. But here's the problem. The Bible itself doesn't actually argue that way. Instead of denying the existence of other gods, it does something far more unsettling. It redefines who they are and who has the right to rule. When modern readers encounter passages about other gods, they often assume metaphor or poetry, but ancient readers didn't. In the ancient world, gods were understood as real spiritual beings who exercised authority over nations. And according to several biblical scholars, that worldview didn't disappear when the Bible was written. It's embedded in it. Here's how scholars like Michael Heiser explain what the biblical text is actually doing.
Remember, Yahweh, the God of Israel, is an Elohim, a spirit being. But no other Elohim is him. He is one of a kind. He is the true God with a capital G. Now, Psalm 82:6 says God has sons. Sons of the Most High is the phrase.
I have said, you are gods and sons of the Most High, all of you.
And so the sons of God are members of the category of being called Elohim.
When was humanity divided into nations? That was at Babel. God allotted the nations to the members of his divine council. The Bible says this is why the ancient nations worshipped other gods. God decided to let the members of his divine council govern the other nations in response to humanity's rebellion at Babel.
But the gods of the nations failed to rule justly. God chastises them in Psalm 82.
God stands in the divine assembly. He administers judgment in the midst of the gods. How long will you judge unjustly and show favoritism to the wicked?
Then God pronounces a judgment on them.
I have said, you are gods and sons of the Most High, all of you. However, you will die like men, and you will fall like one of the princes.
Notice what just happened. The Bible doesn't deny the existence of other gods. It denies their legitimacy. According to the biblical story, humanity rebelled. And at Babel, God responded by dividing the nations. But instead of ruling all of them directly, the text says he allotted the nations to members of a divine council, real spiritual beings entrusted with authority. Those beings became the gods of the nations. That's why ancient cultures worshiped them. Not because they were stupid, but because they were responding to real spiritual powers. The problem wasn't that these gods existed. The problem was that they ruled unjustly. They demanded allegiance that didn't belong to them. They accepted worship that pointed away from the Most High. And Psalm 82 shows God standing in judgment over them, not as rivals, but as corrupt officials. Their sentence is not symbolic. You will die like men. They are real, but they are not eternal. They have power, but they do not have sovereignty. Worship redefined. This is where modern assumptions about worship collapse. Worship in the Bible is not about feeding God's ego. It's about allegiance. In the ancient world, worship meant loyalty. It meant recognizing authority. To worship a god was to declare who ruled you. So when Yahweh demands worship, it isn't insecurity. It's a declaration of rightful kingship. The Bible's conflict is not between belief and disbelief. It's between rightful authority and illegitimate rule, between the Most High and those who claimed what wasn't theirs. Once you understand this, Christianity stops looking like it borrowed from paganism and starts looking like it confronted it.